Welcome to the MyCitizenAgency channel. Moving to Europe means not only new opportunities but also new rules of life. And one of the most important questions that concerns every future resident is how healthcare works and whether insurance is necessary in European Union countries. Today, we will look at how healthcare works in the EU, what types of health insurance are available, and what you need to prepare for in advance. In most European Union countries, healthcare is based on an insurance model. This means that the healthcare system is not financed directly from the general budget for everyone without exception, but through insurance contributions from residents. Therefore, treatment is not completely free by virtue of residence, as some migrants sometimes expect. Access to medical services is directly linked to the availability of valid insurance and its type. Insurance can be state, private, combined. State funds are usually formed from mandatory social contributions from income. Private policies are issued directly by insurance companies and vary in terms of coverage, speed of access to specialists, and the level of clinics. The combined option is common. Basic coverage is provided by the state system, and additional services are added through private insurance. It is the existence of a policy that entitles you to see a doctor, be hospitalized, undergo diagnostic tests, receive monitoring for chronic diseases, and obtain prescription drugs at a reduced cost or without direct payment on the spot. Without insurance, even a standard consultation may have to be paid for in full. In the vast majority of European Union countries, health insurance is mandatory for anyone living in the country for longer than a short-term tourist period. This requirement is not only related to caring for the health of residents, but also to ensuring that the cost of treatment does not fall on the emergency care system without a source of coverage. This rule applies to different categories of residents: students, workers on employment contracts, entrepreneurs and self-employed persons, family members of residents, pensioners moving to live with their children. The type of insurance required may vary depending on the basis for residents. For example, employed persons are more likely to be covered by the state system through social contributions, while students or financially independent persons often take out private policies that meet the requirements of the immigration authorities. Without valid insurance, it is usually impossible to obtain a residence permit, sign an employment contract, extend a residence permit, or register at your place of residence. An insurance policy is included in the basic set of documents that is checked at the application stage. Many countries, such as Germany, France, and Spain, have a well-developed public insurance system. It covers most of the population and provides basic access to medical services throughout the country. The principle of operation is usually as follows. A person is officially employed or pays social security contributions independently. Part of their income is automatically transferred to the health insurance fund. In return, they are entitled to use the public healthcare system. The amount of contributions usually depends on income rather than health status, which makes the system more predictable and social in nature. What is covered by public insurance? Appointments with general practitioners and specialists, hospitalization and inpatient treatment, emergency medical care, pregnancy care, childbirth and postnatal care, treatment of chronic diseases and regular monitoring, part of the cost of prescription drugs. In many countries, diagnostic procedures, tests, ultrasounds, X-rays, MRIs are also partially covered if they are prescribed by a doctor. However, it is important to understand that public health care in European Union countries does not always provide instant access. There may be waiting lists for specialists, scheduled surgeries, and diagnostic tests. That is why some residents take out additional private insurance to speed up access to services. Private health insurance in European Union countries plays an important role for those who are not connected to the public system or want to expand their basic coverage. Such a policy is taken out directly through insurance companies and is selected individually for the purposes of residence and the requirements of the migration authorities. Private insurance is often used when applying for a residence permit without an employment contract by freelancers and entrepreneurs to extend coverage beyond the state system for faster access to doctors and examinations. In many cases, it is the private policy that becomes the main confirmation of medical coverage when applying for a residence permit. Advantages of private insurance: shorter waiting times for appointments and diagnostic procedures, the ability to choose a clinic and specific specialist service in several languages, especially in international clinics, more comfortable hospitalization conditions, private rooms, extended service. Additionally, some policies include dentistry, ophthalmology, preventive examinations, and treatment outside the country of residence. However, the cost of private insurance is higher than contributions to the public system. The price and conditions depend heavily on age, health status, country of registration, and the selected coverage package. There may also be waiting periods for certain types of treatment and restrictions on pre-existing conditions. Emergency care in European Union countries is provided to everyone without exception, even if the person does not have insurance at the time of treatment. This applies to life-threatening conditions that require immediate intervention: serious injuries, heart attacks, strokes, loss of consciousness, acute pain, and other critical situations. Ambulance crews and emergency departments are required to stabilize the patient and provide the necessary urgent medical care regardless of their residence status and whether they have documents. However, it is important to understand that emergency care is specifically about saving lives and treating acute conditions. Follow-up treatment, elective surgery, long-term therapy, and rehabilitation may be subject to fees if the person does not have insurance. In such cases, medical bills are sent directly to the patient, and the amounts can be quite substantial. In European Union countries, most serious medications are available strictly by prescription. This applies not only to potent drugs, but also to many medicines that may be sold freely in other regions. Even relatively common medications sometimes require consultation with a specialist and an official prescription. Prescriptions are usually issued electronically and sent directly to the pharmacy system. The patient only needs to present their insurance card or ID for the pharmacist to see the prescription in the database. Insurance covers part of the cost of medicines. Most often, the patient pays a fixed amount per package or a certain percentage of the cost of the medicine. The amount of the co-payment depends on the country, type of insurance, and category of medicine. Some basic medicines are inexpensive, while modern or branded medicines may require a higher co-payment. In European Union countries, the outpatient care system is most often based on the principle of a family doctor, a general practitioner or therapist. This doctor is the first point of entry into the healthcare system and treats the patient on an ongoing basis. First, the patient consults a general practitioner with any health complaints. The doctor conducts an initial examination, prescribes basic tests and treatment, and if necessary, refers the patient to a specialist, a cardiologist, neurologist, endocrinologist, or other. In most countries, it is not possible to make an appointment with a specialist without a referral, or it will be more expensive if it is a private consultation not covered by insurance. Appointments with doctors are usually made in advance, and urgent appointments are not always possible. In many countries, there is also a practice of assigning patients to a specific clinic or doctor, so when moving within the country, it may be necessary to re-register with a new family doctor. Under certain conditions, treatment in another European Union country is possible. If a person has public insurance in one EU country, they can receive the necessary medical care during a temporary stay in another EU country. Usually, the European Health Insurance Card, EHIC, is used for this purpose. What can usually be obtained under public insurance abroad: emergency and urgent medical care, treatment for sudden illnesses during the trip, assistance with the exacerbation of chronic conditions. It is important to note that the scope of assistance is provided according to the rules of the country where the person is located and under the same conditions as for local insured residents. Planned treatment in another EU country is also possible, but usually requires prior approval from the insurance fund of your country. Without such permission, expenses may not be compensated or may only be partially reimbursed. Private insurance companies often include international coverage, including treatment outside the country of residence. However, the scope of services, payment limits, and list of countries depend on the specific contract. Without an insurance policy, medical services in European Union countries are paid for in full by the patient at commercial rates. The final amount depends on the country, clinic, and complexity of the case, but even basic care can be a significant drain on the budget. Approximate costs without insurance: general practitioner appointment from 50 to 150 euros, consultation with a specialist, often even more expensive, ambulance call, hundreds of euros, especially if transported to a hospital. One day in the hospital, from several hundred to several thousand euros, depending on the department. Operations and complex procedures, tens of thousands of euros. Additional costs include tests, diagnostics, MRI, CT, ultrasound, medication, and follow-up care. Even a relatively simple hospitalization can end up costing a lot. That is why taking out health insurance in Europe is not just a formality for the sake of paperwork, but above all a matter of personal financial security and protection against unforeseen expenses. In most European Union countries, family members can be included in a single insurance plan or connected to the system through the primary insured. For officially employed residents, insurance for spouses and children is often provided on preferential terms and sometimes without additional contributions, depending on income and national regulations. If one of the parents is insured in the public system, children usually have access to medical services on the same basis. In the case of private insurance, it is possible to take out family packages that combine all family members in one contract. Pediatric medicine in EU countries is of a high standard and includes regular preventive checkups, vaccinations, monitoring of child development, and treatment of diseases. However, as with adults, insurance coverage and registration with a pediatrician or family doctor remain mandatory. Without this, scheduled visits, examinations, and prescription drugs will be paid for separately. Before moving to one of the European Union countries, it is important to sort out the issue of health insurance in advance. This is part of the preparation for immigration, which directly affects both the receipt of documents and peace of mind in the first months of life in a new country. Before immigrating, you should clarify which insurance is suitable for your type of residence permit. Requirements may differ for students, employees, entrepreneurs, and financially independent individuals. Check the minimum requirements of the migration services for the amount of coverage and the validity period of the policy. Calculate your monthly insurance premiums and include them in your overall living expenses budget. Find out which services are not included in the basic coverage, such as dental care, routine checkups, or treatment of existing conditions. It is also useful to find out in advance how the insurance is activated after entering the country and what documents you will need to provide to the insurance company. An incorrectly selected or formally unsuitable policy may result in the refusal to process documents, delays in obtaining status, or serious medical expenses after moving. State insurance is usually suitable for those who are officially employed and pay social contributions. Private insurance is suitable for those who apply for a residence permit without an employment contract, are self-employed, or want faster access to specialists and greater comfort. In many cases, the optimal solution is a combination of the two systems. It is important to remember that insurance is not only necessary to meet the formal requirements when submitting documents. It is, first and foremost, protection against serious financial risks. Even a single hospitalization without insurance can result in significant expenses. Therefore, it is worth addressing the issue of health insurance in advance before you move. Understanding how healthcare works in Europe, what services are covered, and what expenses are possible will help you feel more confident and at ease in your new country. If you are just planning to immigrate to the European Union, leave a request for a free consultation at the link in the description. We will study your situation, draw up your personal immigration plan, and prepare a complete package of documents for successfully obtaining citizenship in one of the European Union countries. Thank you for watching this video. If you are interested in this topic, subscribe to our channel and feel free to ask questions in the comments. We regularly publish program reviews, answer frequently asked questions, and share important news about immigration law and life in the EU. Your journey to Europe begins with the first step. My Citizen Agency is there for you every step of the way.